So here they're giving us some conversion factors that they're hiding within the sentences. But let's just take apart the information they're giving us. When they say the energy needed to keep a 75-watt light bulb burning, here the 75 watts is just extraneous information, because they actually tell us that for 1 hour of this light bulb being on, it takes up 270 kilojoules of energy. So this is a conversion factor that they've kind of hidden. What we can do is for every 1 hour, it's going to be 270 kilojoules. That's not the number that we're going to start with, even though there are ways that you can manipulate it later on to be able to start with this conversion factor. The easiest way, though, is to find the value that's alone, because the units that you put together, you usually use them to place one on bottom to cancel out the given units that you do have, and then the units that you want on top are usually the units that you're trying to solve for. So here, if we keep reading, it says, calculate the energy required to keep the light bulb burning for 4 hours in kilocalories. So the value that's alone that we can use to start with to then jump to another unit is the 4 hours. I'm going to write it in blue up here. So for this light bulb, we want to see how much energy is required to keep it burning for 4 hours. Also, we should note that they want our value in kilocalories at the end. We can look at that conversion factor later, but right now we're going to try to convert to kilojoules and get rid of the units of hours. So if we know that we have 1 hour over 270 kilojoules, it doesn't matter, we can put it on top or bottom, either value, but we want to cancel out hours. So we're going to put 1.0 hours on bottom, and then the attached value of 270 kilojoules on top. Now to convert to kilocalories, actually, if they don't give it to you in your book, or your teacher doesn't, we can write this down as notes. For every 1 kilocalorie, there's actually 4.184 kilojoules. This is something that they may or may not give you when you're testing. I would ask your teacher just to see if they expect you to memorize this value, or they'll give it to you when it's needed. So if we're looking here, we want kilocalories at the end, so we want this value on top, and the attached number that goes with kilocalories is 1, and then we do want kilojoules, which is also the attached value in unit, 4.184 kilojoules on bottom. So then we just make sure everything cancels out. We are left with calories, the value that they want, and see the 75 watts. Sometimes if we're trying to convert maybe to time, like 1 watt is equal to 1 joule per second, that is needed, but here they just gave it to us as extra information, so don't let that intimidate you. If we're going to do this calculation, we have, it doesn't matter, you can multiply all the top and then multiply all the bottom and then divide the two. I just go in order as I see it, so 4 times 270, and then I'll divide that by 4.184. I get a value of 258. 0.126 kilocalories. We'll check significant figures. So we didn't use 75 watts in our calculation, so we're not going to use it for sig figs. We did use 4 hours, which has 2. We did use 1 hour, which has 2. 270 also has 2 because it doesn't have a period at the end. We don't include that 0. So we want 2 significant figures in our final answer, and this will be 260 kilocalories. If your teacher likes to use scientific notation all the time, mostly it's okay until you get to the thousands. It would be, we'll keep going down. But scientific notation would just be 2.6 times 10 to the, you carry over the decimal, 1, 2. 2.6 times 10 to the second kilocalories. And I hope this helps. Looking at all the units, the main thing is just write down any conversion factors that they are giving to you, even if it's not clear cut. Here, you can see that 1 hour is attached to 270 kilojoules, so that means that they are together, so you can write them as we have to help to switch and transfer to other units. And just look at the value that they give you that's alone, that you know is specific to this problem, and then try to think about how you can cancel out the units to get to what you do need at the end. And if you need help, you can always schedule, and I'm very flexible with my hours.